All right, it is that time once again to hit the books here, part of the Hammer Betting Network, alongside the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Joey Knish, producer extraordinaire Zach Phillips. Behind the scenes, I am merely Brad Powers. Before we talk week 2 college football, before we talk actually leading the show with the NFL, believe it or not, from last night's game, let me remind everybody and pay some bills here. Hit the Books is brought to you by BetStamp. The easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is to use multiple sports books and always get the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp. BetStamp compares odds across every sports book for games, futures, and player props. You can save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. Download the app today. If you're looking to sign up for a new sportsbook account, please check out the offers available at betstamp.app/hitthebooks or hit the link in the description. You sign up through this page, it helps support the show. Guys, make sure if you're watching live on the YouTube channel, hitting that subscribe button and hitting that like button. We thank you for joining us here on a Friday. And speaking of thanking people, how about thanking Mr. Joey Knish, who said these Detroit Lions were a contender. Everyone laughed at the guy. Who's laughing now, Knish? How about them Lions?
I mean, what a night last night in the City of Champions. Detroit, Michigan, baby. Where just one pillar, just one stone in a season, in a historic season. But it was nice to get off to that start last night. Nice to cash some Lions tickets. You really want? I mean, that was probably the hardest game on the entire schedule from a power rating standpoint. So you can get that one in the chamber, and then the schedule lightens up here next few weeks. So. Hopefully you can get it rolling. I owe a few dimes to my man Kadarius Toney after last night. Let's just say, I'll if he comes by Detroit, I got a little bag for him.
There you go. Yeah, that was not a good look. I think the EPA on pass plays targeted towards him was like taking a sack. So yeah, that's pretty bad. So that's good that the Lions got off to a great start for you. Also, I just enjoy seeing the Lions fans there representing to see them kind of take over Arrowhead at the end. I thought that was cool. That's the second game in a row.
It is going to be the home game in Seattle in the week 2 is going to be electric. Let's just say the town is like my mom, who doesn't watch sports, texted me after the game last night about the win. Like people who don't even like follow like football are already on like a warpath for this Lions team. So yeah, it's gonna be a little crazy around here while the team is in contention.
Let's move to college football. Week 2 coming up tonight. Well, actually kind of got started last night. Louisville easily wins and covers over Murray State, 56-0. But tonight got a nice matchup, and I think it kind of fits the theme of the week. We got a lot of competitively priced games where we're going to actually find out a lot about teams, what they can be in 2023, that being Illinois at Kansas. Kansas is taking money all week. Seeing some fours pop up. Last I checked, over took some money as well. I early bet you and I, the FanDuel was dumb with a pick number early in the week. But other than that, I haven't gotten too involved. Jalen Daniels is going to play tonight, it looks like. Illinois' defense really disappointed last week. I'm not involved with the current numbers. Did you get involved on this Kansas game?
You know what? I even add a little more at 3. I know we were in early. I bet some more 3. I don't know if any 3s are left. Might be some juice 3s out there. I got to tell you, we don't want to overreact to one data point, but I did not like what I saw from the Illinois defense in week 1 versus, a MAC opponent, even though it's a good MAC opponent, a Toledo team. I mean, they lost so much NFL talent off the defense last year that, they lost their defensive coordinator, also Ryan Walters, who we really liked. And maybe it just wasn't for a program like Illinois that can't exactly reload. I'll say here, I probably didn't adjust them down enough in the offseason in terms of, and so again, only 1 week. Maybe they go into, Lawrence tonight and have a better performance, but I don't think Illinois' defense is set up very well in this matchup. Jalen Daniels back, think he'll be healthy. Not like even they can go to the Bean or Jason Bean, even if he tweaks his back or something early. So 2 good options there. I kind of think Kansas rolls tonight. I don't know. I don't really believe in a Burt offense to keep up in a game where I think they're going to have to be at least in the 30s to cover, have a chance to win tonight. So Yeah, I think Rock Chalk gets it done. I would even I could see Illinois getting run out here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm a little sky again. Don't want to overreact too much, but it is Kansas or nothing for me.
Well, Patrick Burns in the chat disagrees. He doesn't get the steam. Give me Illinois outright plus 155. Yeah, I just disagree. I really loved. I was Mr. Illinois last week.
Love Pat's dog though. Good looking dog.
Yeah. Yep. It was the way that they didn't cover the spread. It was, they allowed 186 rushing yards. That was more than any game last year. I mean, Newton and Randolph are supposed to be, dogs up front. They weren't. So, I mean, if you're struggling to defend DeQuan Finns and that multitude and that multiple Toledo offense, you're going to struggle tonight against
this Kansas offense is like the Toledo offense on steroids. Very similar scheme, very similar type, but just with better talent. So that's going to be real tough. Illinois is going to have to. I don't have the faith in their offense to put, even though they were able to move it last week. And Kansas defenses, I can't see them winning a shootout.
All right, let's get to one of the games of the day. I think there's 3 or 4 of them. Mississippi Kid in the chat addresses one of them, Nebraska +3, Ole Miss -7. Well, if you tuned in on Monday, we are a part of the Nebraska money here. We said, hey, Prime, you can put us on the list too for not respecting your program because we took Nebraska +3.5. We saw, another sharp group hit Nebraska again yesterday. Drove it down through 3. Now sitting, a lot of 2.5s out there. But yeah, we took the 3.5. So we agree with that one. Ole Miss. Yeah, I mean, I'm not wild about laying 7, but I am a part of the original early week steam on Ole Miss as well. Did you get involved? Obviously got involved in Nebraska. Did you take part in Ole Miss?
Yeah, on just, I mean, there's still some square, if you haven't got into Nebraska, there's still some square books that are going to offer the 3 out there. And it wouldn't surprise to me that, some of the real rec shops trade even maybe a 3.5 tomorrow. So, I mean, I think the overwhelming, pool of one of those rare college football regular season games where you might get enough square handle to actually impact the lines around places.
Yeah.
But again, we couldn't as aggressive as I could upgrade Colorado. It was like maybe this game should be a pick. Maybe they should be a 1.5 point favorite. To get 3.5 on Nebraska. Just think is too. And hey, if Coach Prime dances on our grave again, then we'll have to eat it. But I think you'll see a Nebraska game plan that correlates pretty well to an under. Matt Rule defense that obviously showed out week 1, and I think they're going to try and line up and bully a Colorado defense that is not any good. So yeah, that's one that there. Tulane, Ole Miss. I don't have a great. They're little whispers about Michael Pratt's ankle availability. That I think he'll go, but it would be a Ole Miss or nothing for me in this one at 7. Even sports, our friends over there at Sports Radio are apparently shading every game. They want to take action this year, so they'll give you a half point better on whatever's on the market if you got access there. But I don't know. There was some rumors going around Pratt. My guess is he plays. Is he 100%? I don't know. I'm pretty, kind of bullish on Ole Miss. So yeah, the Pratt birds are chirping. But yeah, so it'd be Ole Miss or nothing for me here.
Agree on both fronts, and I do think there's correlation with you see the under movement in the Nebraska-Colorado game that coincides with the game that Nebraska wants to play. But you're right. I was intrigued by the group that went yesterday. I was thinking, man, market entry. I was thinking, let's wait and see, if the public can drive that off at 3 back up to 3.5. But they went ahead and fired. Kudos to them. I agree with the move. I've upgraded Colorado more than any team coming in the season. Upgraded them more than any team after week 1. Still can't get there. So go Big Red there. Let's hit a couple more. In the chat, how about Uncle Joey's Eastern Michigan Eagles worth a bet at +21? Yeah, where's that one available at 21? I'd like that. 20.5 is really painted across most of the market, but that's certainly, I do not want to be laying 3 touchdowns with Minnesota's offense. And look at the track record at Eastern Michigan. Start off slow against an FCS opponent. The very next game against a P5 opponent, they usually play well, including last year. Struggled out of the gates against an FCS opponent, turned around, beat Arizona State, outright dominated the game, in fact. So, yeah, that 21 out there, Unibet, yeah, that's worth the, Bet Rivers, Canby Books. That's worth the bet. What say you?
Yeah, this is the one that I had a ton of interest in either way. I agree with you that just numbers wise, I thought it was about right. Stylistically, as you said, Minnesota offense, a team that I'm a little skeptical. And again, Eastern, a team that kind of got outplayed by Howard on their home field week one, which again, as you
Really
said,
good point.
they've had a pattern of that in the past here, but yeah, it's an ugly game indeed there. I don't really have. I would agree. Just from a number thing, would I have a small play on 21 if you got access there? Yeah. Outside of that, there's really not much back and forth here that I'm looking to buy either way. It's probably a game that I'm not going to have too much on.
Real quick, back to the Tulane Ole Miss game. RW fan 23 thoughts on the under. Yeah, I mean, if Pratt's banged up, I would lean that way, but we've seen one way money on the over, in fact. And what would worry me and why I kind of like Ole Miss more than the over is, man, if they get up and they just go to the next quarterback, they're going to run the offense. Kiffin hates the new rules, and I think he'll just continue to put the foot on the gas pedal. It doesn't matter if Spencer Sanders, Walker Howard, or Jackson Dart's in their quarterback. They're going to keep that pedal on the pedal to the metal there. So I'm not on the under. I'll put it that way.
No, I don't. Yeah, same. I'm with you there. And just in terms of how Lane plays there, I don't know. The Pratt stuff isn't concrete enough for me to really want to jump in front of the under and thinking he's going to be super immobilized or anything. So hey, it's one of those. If you're watching, maybe early you play it live if he's either not looking good or any of that. So that would be the only way I'd take a look at. Other than that. As you said, Ole Miss or nothing on the side for me, nothing on the total.
Intriguing game to start off the day. Noon Eastern kickoff on ABC. Steve McAllister in the chat. Any ND backers? No, I'm not there. And we haven't seen the line move. I mean, funny. It's been 7.5 almost all week outside of that first initial tick off of Circus 6. I didn't get to it. Somebody beat me there. I am really – well – sounds like somebody likes the dog in that game.
Yeah, I was gonna say someone's hyped up about it in terms of trying to get a piece of that ND backer here, but she's still juiced up over the Lions' victory. But no, I don't have any really much to get involved here. I just know a few numbers. I know a few numbers guys who were pretty bullish on NC State in terms of just overall rating and that where I can't get the for NC State initial game out of my head for me in terms of how bad their offensive line was, the lack of explosiveness they had all around on their team. I just don't want to bet. And again, we're not a huge data point from, the Notre Dame Navy game, but I'm with you there. I would kind of be looking to see if there's some game day steam on NC State. If it would it probably one of those, it'd flicker for a second if it gets under a TD and you have to be by the screen to buy it. But that would be the only way to play it for me is if I can catch some Notre Dame at, 6.5 or something. I'll keep an eye out. Other than that, I just don't believe it. I just don't buy it. I just don't believe in it. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in the NC State offense.
What if I told you that it wasn't so much bad NC State, and I'm just, theoretically here, what if it was good Connecticut, which could also be the case because Jim Mora Jr. can
I know you're very bullish on that thing. Maybe, Jim Mora's, trying to make they're not in the cup. I'm trying to make the playoff this year.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but that coincides with Nick in the chat. UConn's still good at 3. Yeah, I mean, obviously you prefer the 3.5 off a key number there, but I made it 2.4. I like Connecticut outright, to be honest with you, this week. I am buying. I didn't think I was fluky against NC State, and we can question the weapons that NC State has. I actually was more impressed with how Connecticut held up at the line of scrimmage in that game against what I anticipated to be a physical NC State team. So keep in mind, I know everyone talks about regression, and Connecticut statistically wasn't great last year for a team that went to a bowl game. They were as banged up as any team in the country at the skill positions. And the fact that they still made a bowl game after their track record the 3-4 years prior. I mean, Jim Mora Jr. was one of the coaches of the year last year, and they're starting out all right. And hopefully they get a cover for us. If you're tuning into the Monday show, that was the release pick that I gave out Monday morning. I know, Knish, you were still sleeping. you hadn't gotten your
yeah. Thankfully, I was able to grab a little bit night beforehand, baby. Yes, maybe we can give me 10 or 11 or something. 9 a.m. Tell Moretto. If I beat him in this stupid, contest we're doing, we're moving that show back a few hours. I'll tell you that.
there you go.
I like UConn too. Their defensive line really ate against NC State. I agree. Georgia State too got ran over by Rhode. I mean, and again, Rhode Island pretty explosive. If you're in the weeds, pretty explosive FCS offense. But they could not stop them in any fashion. So I think UConn gets the offense rolling a little bit better. The run game going this week, and their D line is real deal. Not LSU or anything, but I mean they got some players there. They got some guys that probably have a chance in the league. So I don't know. That seems to me I would be a little surprised if Georgia State can handle that.
Yeah, and it was not just a pro-Connecticut position there. It was anti-Georgia State. We thought they were lucky to obviously win that game outright as a big favorite against Rhode Island last week. I mean, keep in mind, Rhode Island threw a pick six. There was threw an interception in the end zone in that game. So I thought Rhode Island easily could have won that game outright. So it's anti-Georgia State as well. Charles Saul in the chat, any heads ahead with the blue ball, the horseshoe this week?
The blue horseshoe's gone conveniently quite silent here in the last, I don't know what's going on, but,
Very quiet week. Humble pie, to say the least, from him. I don't know if he got talking to by the guy he works for or what, but been a very quiet week on Twitter for old blue horseshoe. Even quiet on the picks front. Interesting. So no heavy volume from him this week. Interesting.
No, I mean, you couldn't shut him up last week, and now all of a sudden, I don't see him in the chat here either. Conveniently.
No, 1-8 on underplays will do that to you because the books are just not going to have it priced in accordingly. The new clock rules, and boy, another great handicap. The Cal Bears are going to wilt in the North Texas heat. Last I checked, second half score 25 for Cal, 0 for North Texas. Take that. Let's keep it going here. Love you, Fez, if you're watching. I don't think he is. The Onion Man, Texas A&M -3 at -120. Yeah, I'd certainly lean that way. My preferred position in the game is the over. We talked about it. We gave it out on Monday, got in front of the line move there. I liked what I saw. Both passing attacks, much improved both teams in the pass game. Not only A&M and their wide receivers, they have 4 or 5 studs there. Miami, Florida's healthier at that position. Over for me is the preference. Wow, Sport Trade they're really wanting some action there at 2.5. Extra juice there, but my goodness. 3 minus. I mean, you can get a -3, -110 right there at bet 365. That would be my preference. Did you bet the side?
No, just before we hopped on there, some Miami money came in, and 3 became pretty widely available. Actually, just before we got on, bet a little 3. I agree. I like our over position better than the side as well, but at a normally priced 3, I had to jump in. It's just I'm not again. Miami's offense looked improved, no doubt, but do I have a lot more faith in the overall just talent level of Texas A&M? I have a lot more faith in Bobby Petrino as a coordinator, since it definitely looks like it's his offense. That's what they're running. I'm not totally in the ballpark yet for believing Miami has completely turned it around. Whereas A&M, I'm more bullish on that. I think Petrino had taken over the offense the second year, even though Durkin I'm not totally in love with, and they brought in a lot of players. So I like it at -3. No, I'm not buying back. I see some chats here, and am I buying back on the under? Hell no. If anything, I'd still play the over at current. So no, I'm keeping our over position.
Yeah,
somebody keeps giving Bud some bad info. Bud Elliott is DMing me that people are like, oh, Bud likes it, and then he has to DM me that he didn't actually like that. So if you're gonna quote Bud, make sure you're actually quoting what he really said, because it's 2 times where someone's been in here and be like, oh, Bud likes this, and he's hit me up after the show and say, I didn't even say that.
Yeah, pay attention. You know what I would like from the audience right now? I would like them to be paying attention and also hitting that like and subscribe button if you're tuning in right now live. As we get to all the questions, we got a bunch loaded here. Andrew in the chat, I think he meant Western Michigan at Syracuse minus 24.5. A lot of money on Syracuse. A lot of money in the over as well. I love the over. I just want points. I don't care where it comes from either team. I didn't really get involved on the side, but my biggest position this week is on the over in this one. Both teams running a lot more tempo than expected. And thank you for Circa. These guys are opening it up at 46.5. Hit that one 4 different times. So I want a lot of high points in this one. Did you bet the side?
No, I have a little regret there of not taking the 21. It's one of those lean early but 21. It got away. I never was able to grab a piece. So now it's, it's just too far gone. But I agree. This is one of those, we've talked about in the past few weeks of a UCF, a Tennessee, Syracuse, another one against an overmatched MAC team here. Do I really want to get involved, at fading, even though it's gotten up to 24? No, not really. Western Michigan's really bad. They had a bunch of roster turnover. I don't think they can, really, be able to stop Syracuse in any fashion. I agree with you. I loved our, the early. I don't know what Syracuse was doing with that. I mean, for the most part, obviously they're, you see some moves on their stuff, but rarely 10 points off on this, total. And that was one where it wasn't like, oh, I think it's, I mean, I don't know what that was not WNBA All-Star game bad, but that 46 was like, what is that number? So, yeah, I agree with you. I loved it. And I still, even still lean that way. That's another one. So yeah, I'm with you there. As far as liking where we're at on that over position, but nothing on the side for me.
Yeah, I think maybe they overlooked. I've got a little overlooked because both teams played FCS opponents last week. Maybe that was the case there. But thank you again to them. You know what that means. We're looking at a 27-10 final. So we'll see. Because CLV was not great last week. I know people have been asking me about that. It's 1 week, folks. Come on.
Right. Yeah. Educate the people here. Like people, CLV's dead. It doesn't mean anything. If I guarantee you by the end of the season, probably by the end of like the weekend, it's going to revert back to the norm here. So don't go. I don't know. People love this like CLV is dead, conversation there. So no, don't buy into
they say it's dead, and then you'll be like, okay, you think it's dead? Give me 3 points in every game. You're not willing to do that, are you? Guys, I track it. I've been tracking it for 3+ years. We're talking, almost a 2,000 game sample size. I'm just using the circuit openers in college football. Anything that moves 3 points or more, you get out in front of it, you're hitting 60%. You bet a minute before kickoff, you're like 50%. So it does matter. That's everything right there. So let's give it a few weeks, bigger sample size. More in the chat. Let's get the derivative market here. John, thoughts on Arizona, Mississippi State first half under 30.5. I like Arizona in the game. I was impressed with they're a little bit better defensively than I expected. Mississippi State changing their offense. I'm not sure that we got a good look from them playing what I consider to be a Southeast Louisiana team that might be a little bit down this year. But I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion on that first half under. What say you?
No, I don't either. I'm a little, I agree with you. Like, I'm not totally sure what to expect from, Mississippi State offense again.
Wait a second. What happened? It's down to 6.5? 4.5 in some spots? What happened? Is somebody out?
No. The Mississippi State line, I'm still seeing 9.5 here. What is?
Okay. So that screen is because I'm looking at the screen.
Bro, he was pulled out. That was first half.
He pulled out the first half.
Yeah.
Hell, there we go. I'm sorry. That was a brain fart by me. Well, I was just looking at the screen. I'm like, what the hell happened? I don't have much on the first half. Do you? Do you get the general question? Do you do a lot of derivatives?
Again, some like more second half stuff than first half stuff. Okay. But occasionally get in there. I'll do again, and more so team total than first half, first quarter, or any of that. But I don't have a strong. I agree with you. Arizona's defense did look improved, but I'm not not totally sure what to expect from Mississippi. One of our loyal listeners does never nonstop text me about Mississippi State being bullish on them. They're gonna run them off. So he's probably in the chat right now, Dr. Brown, because he loves Mississippi. He's a Mississippi State homer. I don't have a strong take. He thinks they're. I really don't know what to make of this team so far in the season. I think this will be a good litmus test here to see actually how good they can be.
I think that's most of the card this week, thankfully. We got so many competitively priced games where we're going to find out a lot, and this will be one of them, Arizona, Mississippi State. Sorry for the brain fart, Zach. I didn't see you switch to the first half screen. I was just worried. I was like, what the hell happened in the last half hour that line came down? Tailgate tents viewing. He got his releases out of the way just to join the show.
I know.
Here.
Now he can sit back and enjoy some, nice quality programming here.
Yeah. Grab a cold one there. I like that. Love tailgate tent. Love that guy. Very sharp. More derivative markets. RW fan in the chat. Colorado team total under 29.5. Interesting. Yeah, I could get there. Anything that I could get, anti-Colorado, I could see it. But what say you on that one? I haven't bet it. I'm just happy with my Nebraska position.
Yeah, I agree. That's not in that specific game, not the way I would love. I'd prefer just the under in general over that. I prefer, the side at 3 or what you can find, you wait till tomorrow, maybe you grab a 3.5 more so than the team total specifically in that game.
Previewing to the end of the show, are you going to have any props for the people? Because Ben in the chat and even myself, I'm looking for props. Do you have any for us?
I do have one in the chamber ready to go there. So Joey Props has got one for you, baby. Don't you worry about it. You think I'm going to stop after a couple winners? You think I'm going to stop giving up? Hell no. That's people come to Friday show. They want some Joey Props. They're going to get some.
You're going to have to wait at least half hour, guys. So stay tuned in for that. They've been rock solid, to say the least, to start off the season. Grant in the chat with another intriguing game. Texas Tech, Oregon. Lubbock, weird place to play, down to 6. To me, handicapping 101 says Texas Tech's probably the sharper side. Off an outright upset, loss is a 2-touchdown favorite. Oregon played a tomato can, put up that big scoreboard number, 81. With that being said, no, I didn't get there. I bet I took a little bit on the over earlier in the week. Did not bet the side. Obviously there were 7.5s that flashed for a little bit, I want to say on Monday, taken away. But, I mean, you and I watched that Texas Tech-Wyoming game.
Yep.
I don't trust Tyler Shuck to go score for score here. I'm not there. I get it that people, it's about your classic sell high, buy low. I'm not there. Did you bet it? Are you part of this Texas Tech money here later in the week?
No, I didn't. I agree with if you would have told me prior to last week that I could get a 7. I know that's usually the buy point there. Unless I see something that I thought was really and then we kind of did. Where if Texas Tech's offense once and Wyoming went to that more cloud zone look there and kept everything underneath, they really couldn't do anything. I think it's an Oregon team that's just, that's out-recruited Texas Tech significantly. They have more talent than them. So it's one that I just wanted to stay away from. If you had a 7 in that and you said, you know what, numbers, I'm going to buy it at 7. I understand that. I agree. When we talked it through Monday, it was one that I just did not want to get involved in here. Thinking that maybe, Texas Tech isn't maybe that, the downgrade to them, maybe it's more of a fair price on them than I had them going into the season. So yeah, for the most part, this is one that I'm not really looking to get involved in either way. It'll be another good data point to see, like, if Texas Tech can't cover this number this week or can't get it going, then it might be in some trouble this season, which is a team that I was bullish on coming into the year.
Yeah, I was too. That hurt the win total market, to say the least. I'm losing outright there in week 1. I took a position on Texas Tech over. Also, we took them on this show. I took them to win the Big 12 at 20-1. My goodness, that was terrible. Good in as far as props. Michael in the chat, good fade on that bum Klubnik last week. Joey K, he was hard to watch. Yeah,
we didn't. We told little Duke Clemson head-to-head, baby, and I gave you a little jab to the ribs there on the yard. My Dukies coming through. Dabo better watch out, because I don't. He won a national title, so you're probably untouchable forever, no matter what. But man,
2 titles.
Yeah, well, two titles. What am I doing? 2 titles. But like, I mean, it looked so much, and I know like maybe it was the pace was a little more frenetic. I know they had some very bad luck, turnover luck there, but man, they don't have wide receiver talent. Their defensive talent isn't as elite as it's been in the past. The offense was still too like, hurry up and remind me of the junk Tulsa's run for that, where they just hurry up and like hand it off up the middle under Phil Montgomery forever. I don't know, man. I don't. It's a Clemson program that is not trending in a very healthy direction, and I feel like Dabo's too. Whatever head is in the clouds too much to make the changes that were required.
Oh wow, yeah. He told you to shut up.
I'm not saying he's getting fired. I'm just like I no longer believe like in the direction of Clemson as a program.
Yeah, I think it's a legitimate question, and people might say, "Oh, you're overreacting to one game." We're not. I mean, let's go back to the last 6-7 games. Got crushed at Notre Dame. Notre Dame was playing with a high school quarterback in that game, one-dimensional, and still got crushed. Notre Dame ran them over at the line of scrimmage. They lose at home to South Carolina. That broke their 40-game home winning streak. South Carolina, we've found out since then, pretty average program, to say the least. They get crushed in the bowl game against Tennessee. And Dabo says, "Oh, we never had a game like that in Clemson football history where we run and pass for 200." I don't know. The offense looked similar in the bowl game for week 1 because they had no problem moving through the 20s against Tennessee. They're missing field goals, not taking care of red zone opportunities. That looked like the same damn offense I saw in their very last game against Tennessee. So, yeah, it's not trending well. And we're going to find out here in a couple weeks where they're going to go as a program because Florida State comes to town, and Florida State's going to be smelling blood in the water. So Clemson better gear up for that one here in a couple weeks. Clemson could have 2 conference losses in the month of September. That'd be unbelievable. I mean, they went like 5-6 years losing 2 games combined in the conference. Andrew in the chat, Troy plus 16 against Kansas State. I'm not there. I was impressed with Kansas State, not impressed with Troy. Both played an FCS opponent. There's some dual action in the marketplace. A couple guys I respect are on Kansas State. A couple guys we're seeing buyback on Troy. Blue Horseshoe likes Kansas State, or was that Dr. Bob? Oh, I can't tell the difference sometimes. For those that know, no. Yeah, I would lean Kansas State. That's where my numbers are at.
I played a little 17. When it got up there was a shop around here that I was able to grab some 17, but it's not, again, back. This is one of those back at current. Think it's fair there. One of those like 14 Kansas State, 17 Troy type of games. Think it, just going to trade in the middle of where it is at the moment now. So 17 was the buy price for me. Took a little bit there. Nothing, super strong.
Ohio State to miss the playoffs minus 120. Yeah, that was you betting that, and you tweeted that out. That was a great bet. I'm actually.
I just, you know what? It's one of those where if you're looking like for them to make the playoff, I think they probably have to go into Michigan and win that game. Because this isn't a Big Ten team they've got obviously losable games, Notre Dame, Penn State, but just the way I think the season's going to play out, I think they have to beat. I don't think, an Ohio State team that doesn't win the Big Ten is getting in this year. Again, there's some prognostication that I could be wrong, but I think you got a strong case for a Pac-12 team this year, a strong case for 2 SEC teams, a strong case for Florida State. I don't think, an Ohio State team that isn't a Big Ten champion or any non-Big Ten champion has a real strong case to get in this year. And so they're going to be a dog in Michigan. So 120 was good for me. And I'll tell you this, I think they're losing at South Bend. I already said it on the show. So, and if they lose that game, it can throw that playoff out the window. So, yeah, I like it. There's actually still some minus 120, minus 121 around. If you
like that, a Canby book? Where was that at?
Join. Yeah. That was at Canby. I know DK had minus 125. The score ad, the new Barstool software, like minus 125 or minus 130. So, yeah, I like that to at least minus 130 there if you want to join.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you another game that's in play. Rewatching that game, Penn State. Penn State's legit.
We got it. I got it. We got to tip our cap there. We were not believers, and they looked pretty damn good.
Yeah, the Aller looked good, really good, and their defense looked good as well. A couple of guys in the chat, 350 plus live watching right now. Need more likes. Like and subscribe if you like the show. You get more Joey K prop picks the more you like and subscribe. You help the
That's
pizza
right.
man out. More importantly, let's get Zach a raise because he deserves one. Our producer extraordinaire. Fully in the chat, Cal Bears +6 against Auburn. Yeah, I mean, I love Cal. I mean, obviously, they were. I'm feeling as good about them as any team in the country, considering what was at stake for me against the Blue Horseshoe on Saturday. With that, and I mean, I felt like I was on the island. I mean, I was Mr. Cal in the win total. People are like, I'm not seeing it. Well, I get it. Only 10 people get the Pac-12 network. I watched the spring game. I'm telling you, they're a legit team. With that being said, I think they're getting enough respect in the market in this game. It is a tough spot. I mean, SEC team going to the West Coast never happens. And then you're playing that late start time. What does Auburn's body clock look like in the second half? We'll see. I prefer the over. Cal ran a ton of tempo, 95 plays. Did not wilt in the heat. I'll mention that again, contrary to popular handicapping belief. Auburn, more offensive driven, obviously with Hugh Freeze. I'm on the over. What say you?
Yeah, I'm with you. I didn't understand that under move back down. I thought high 50s was fair here. If you want to lock into 54 and a half, I'm good on that. I played some Auburn at. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yep. Love it. I like that. I'm in a circuit contest. That's on one of my 7 picks in the circuit contest. So that's one of my favorite bets, to be honest with you, over there.
I mean, as you said, I mean, Spavital and Hugh Freeze here, we're going to get, the new clock rule is not going to come into effect because both teams are going to run about 5-second plays. And I thought, you know what? Cal's, the big Auburn's rush D against UMass didn't look particularly strong. That's what Cal's going to want to do is run a ton of plays, run the ball. Finley could distribute some of the passing offense, and obviously the Hugh Freeze, all in on a Hugh offense. So like the over there, I laid some Auburn at like 5 and 5.5. I saw even like Sport Trade there trading a 4.5, but I think FanDuel had a 5.5. So play again, like Auburn at if you can get under 6. But the over definitely stronger there at the current prices.
Brady in the chat on the game. Cal team total over 23.5. Yeah, I could see it. Certainly. I would lean that way. But obviously I don't care who's scoring this one since I did not really bet the side. I'd be happy with a 59-0 Auburn win. I mean, for our purposes. I just think we're getting points. We're getting pace from both teams. And you don't think pace historically, at least recent history from either team. So I think that's a little mispriced there. But Elliot in the chat, everyone, this is like a who's who watching. Need more shouting, less clarity. I love it.
The mic, they give it too quality. You give Joey crystal clear mic, and now you actually got to hear what he says.
Yeah, there you go. John in the chat, we got any Brad FCS specials this weekend?
You got one tonight, baby. I one that I like too, even though the Battle of the Indianas.
Yeah, you want to put a pizza bet on the dog tonight, Indiana State, plus 30.5, plus 31. I think it's worth a bet. I mean, you're going to lay points to that Indiana offense? No way, man. I don't see it. So, yeah, there's some 31s out there, 30.5. Yeah, I think it's fair. Indiana State had a very misleading final. So they lost him. I do follow the FCS. So bear with me for 20 seconds.
Because I actually laid it last week and then saw the final score and was like, well.
so Indiana State failed.
A good bet.
They failed to cover the point spread by 40 points last week. They were a 13-point favorite, lost 27-0. So it's really, really bad, but they were -6 in turnovers. So that's why I thought there was a little bit of value tonight. Obviously, short week for Indiana coming off of a very physical game against Ohio State. That was a black and blue kind of like mid-October, November Big Ten game last week against Ohio State. So I like Indiana State. Indiana State played last Thursday, so they actually have an extra day. Indiana has one less day. And again, I can't lay that kind of number with Indiana State. So that was the handicap there. Plus the power rating was under 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I played some 31 myself. And I mean, this totals, 45, 46 there. Yeah, I even know some people that liked under, even at those prices. So yeah, we're getting an Indiana offense that woof. And I know it was Ohio State, but yeah, I totally agree. I was actually pretty bullish on India. Laid it last week in Indiana State. Then that's 58 turnovers and they lose by, but hopefully a little bit more turnover look this week. And I agree with you. I think 31 is definitely the play there.
Yeah, so let's put that down as the best bet. I think DK's got it at 31 minus 110. I mean, they're one of the two biggest books. That's fine. So, put it in the chamber. Love it. Love that one. As far as tomorrow, they got to put lines up. Kudos to Circa. They put up lines the day before last week. So that'll come. Last week it started about 7:30 Pacific time. They posted everything. It was beatable. It was the one thing I did very well in. So I'm going to keep it reserved. I wouldn't tell my best friend. I wouldn't tell Knish. I wouldn't tell my sister. If you'd have to literally have a gun to my head. Maybe I would say when I'm looking to bet there. But once I do bet, keep in mind, I think a lot of that stuff's off 7-10 points. I'll put out a tweet or two on stuff to look for tomorrow. Something to keep. I'll give you one in the chamber. I bet heavily against San Diego last week. They're dealing with a hazing situation. Half the team is basically suspended. Depending on the number you got, you either won fading them, you pushed, or you even lost. They were much worse than the final, San Diego. So I think we'll continue to get value fading them. They play a D2 school tomorrow, so that doesn't matter. Week 3 on out, you want to be fading San Diego. So keep that one in the chamber moving forward. You're going to have to beat me to those lines on that one. UTEP Northwestern thoughts. I'll take this one. I like Northwestern. I've been pretty steadfast on this all week. The market not necessarily agrees with me on this one. We saw UTEP get as high as 2. Pure power ratings play for me. I don't think Northwestern might not be as bad. Maybe Rutgers is halfway decent. You don't know at this point. I just cannot lay. Earlier today, UTEP's favored. On the road in Big Ten play, I think Northwestern will have a spirited effort. If they don't win this game, we tweeted this. I don't know. The Howard looked good. They might not win a game this year, but I like Northwestern. I know I'm on an island on this one. You disagree with me?
At current, I don't really have a strong. I know when the soft opens came open and UTEP was 4-3, then I was running by that. But especially when I think for a moment there, like yesterday or the day before, UTEP got up to like -2.5. That's a -2 play. Little bit too bullish there on a UTEP. I think this has got like close, ugly, disgusting game written all over it between these two that can go a turnover either way, can kind of adjust it. I'm probably a bit higher on UTEP than Mo and kind of lower on Northwestern after that. But again, this is one where you're talking about that Northwestern would have been coming into the season at least 4, 5, 6 point favorite in this game. Yeah. So to have them go over to the dog, I think was a bit too much. Pickish is probably about right. So nothing for me there where it's at.
We have hit the 400 mark live watching, so that's great.
Keep feeding us, baby.
Yeah.
Mazzola may need to keep his job. He had to have Zach over at his house last night for the live stream to get some beyond that. So hopefully we can keep the pizza man employed and the lights on.
There we go there. Thoughts on Florida State to win the ACC at +110? I think that's a good bet. I bet it prior to the season. You and I talked about it. Well, it's just we kind of hedged our bets. We're like Florida State or Clemson is winning the ACC. I just don't see both at plus money. I'm like, this is far greater than 50% chance that one of the two is winning it. Everything that happened in week 1 says Florida State, not only the LSU win, but Clemson already suffering a conference loss. So honestly, Florida State, if they beat Clemson coming up here in a few weeks, and there's a possibility they'll be a road favorite at this point, they might not even face Clemson again in the ACC championship game. They might face a North Carolina, a Miami, who the hell knows, a Louisville at this point. So that would be beneficial for them. Go and beat Clemson once. You don't have to even face them again. So do you like the +110 now at the current market?
Listen, maybe we should ask our friend in the tailgate tent here who he liked in the ACC preseason, because after that week 1 performance, we'll have to see what he has to say now. But am I running to bet like +110 there in Florida State? I'm not. But we talked about it a little bit preseason. Obviously, yeah. If they go in and beat Clemson, which I think, the game that they'll be favored in now, they can basically cakewalk to the ACC title after that. But for me, it's got to be a little bit more juice on the squeeze. If I was gonna, I kind of like to, if I'm gonna going to lay a future in those price, betting like the nose or some of that, as we said with Ohio State, more than, a game where Florida State's got to get there, who they're going to face in that. So, I'm not running to grab, but overall, I'm not gonna try and talk you off it there.
Yeah, and if you're a longtime listener to the show, preseason ACC preview, I think we got like Florida State at like what plus 150 or more to win it. So you already got that ticket in pocket if you've been watching. There we go. Oh yeah, it's a bad situation on the Clemson front right now. But yeah, Klubnik to win the Heisman over the win total. Clemson to win the ACC. Clemson to win the national title. That was not a good Monday night, to say the least. Very bad. The positive, though, we still have Florida State to win the ACC. The biggest bet I made was Jordan Travis to win the Heisman. So I'm okay. I've had worse days. Losing the Blue Horseshoe on the Notre Dame Navy. That one hurt me more. So there we go. Look at that, 185. I didn't know we got that price. 185. Wow. Knish knows what he's talking about here.
Hey, listen. Hopefully you're listening this summer, baby, because we were putting out heaters all summer. People asking Marshall, ECU. I see a number of ones on that.
That's tailgate. Who do you like?
Yeah, and a couple other. I mean, I was very bullish on Marshall at open at -1. Once it got to 3, a little bit of buyback there. I think if you can get anything, what are the current? If you can get even a cheap 3 at 2.5, I liked Marshall there. That was one of those misleading score versus Albany. They couldn't get it started. Also, Albany really good this year to be in the really good, great quarterback FCS team. ECU against Michigan. Yeah, there's a 2.5 there. Even Sport Trade might as well. I gotta call my guy. No, it's Sport Trade. Ask me if he just wants to book all my action because they like the oppo of everything. I like it under 3. There was not much to like in terms of what I saw out of ECU against Michigan. I know it's a game that they're really overwhelmed in, but Garcia, it looked like they had no confidence in him to play. They were switching quarterbacks back and forth. They couldn't run the ball at all. The offensive line had like no protection issues, and it's a defense that kind of ran an aggressive scheme, but overall, I was not. There wasn't much to like in terms of what I saw from ECU. I think Marshall takes care of them there. And anything under 3, I think, is a bet.
Mr. Muscles was on Marshall earlier in the week.
Yep. Saw that. Agree with it.
Anthony, or one more from Tailgate Tent. UTSA this good. I think he's probably referencing being now a 14-point favorite against Texas State.
I bet Texas State at 14.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm rooting for points. I mean, I know it's one of the highest totals. I like the over quite a bit. There was points left on. I know it was a 42-31 final in Texas State Baylor. I'm here to tell you there was maybe 20 more points left off the scoreboard in that one. That easily could have been a 100-point game. UTSA Houston, there was a lot of points left on the scoreboard in that one. I like the over. I don't think it's got the tempo priced in accordingly on Texas State. And if that's the case, then probably don't have it quite factored in as far as the power rating on Texas State. So I hear you at 14. I think I laid 10.5 earlier in the week, but numbers matter. I would not lay 14 on Texas or on UTSA. Now I could only look towards Texas State.
No, I'm with you. I agree. I know some other guys. Yeah, numbers got played 11 as well, but at 14, that was the buy price for me. I got there. I played some Texas State.
Anthony Donahue in the chat, Temple plus 8.5. I've been asked a ton on this game. I understand the thought process and Temple being the sharp side, but in the back of my head, I'm thinking maybe Rutgers is better than expected. And I watched the Temple Akron game, and I like Temple in that game, and I didn't like what I saw, to be honest with you. So I'm not there yet, but a lot of people like Temple this week. Are you one of them?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
This would be. I was actually seeing. This is one that. And man, there's the market moves this year seem to be. If you kind of been pretty aggressive. So once something kind of keeps steaming down, that's one that. If I get a flat 7 on Rutgers, I'm going to play it. So I'll be on the lookout there to see if some more game day steam comes in. Rutgers is the only side I'm looking at. And if people bought up the 10 with Temple, I understand it, lower total net, but I agree. Rutgers looked a bit better. Wimsatt, I got to give the man some credit. He did look like he's improved. I agree. I have nothing positive to say about. I didn't like Temple coming into the season. Bet against them last week. Probably should have lost outright to Akron. It'll be Rutgers at a TD for me or no play.
Fair enough. We've gone 50 minutes and we have not mentioned not one word about the game on Saturday night, Alabama, Texas. There might be a reason why we haven't mentioned it. I don't think there's that much value. I mean, and don't believe us. It's pretty much 6-7 almost all week. I know you like Texas. We mentioned this on the Monday show. Do you like it at 7 still? Because we haven't seen hardly any line movement. Obviously, you're going to have to call the hitman up and get you some down at Sport Trade, New Jersey. They're begging for your money, Knish. They want your action at Sport Trade.
I still, again, 7.5 was, I agree. And don't get me wrong, Bama's defense especially looked, again, they looked a bit better on, week 1 than I was just overall athletically and everything. And I know it's weird to say when it's Bama, but I was pretty down on Bama's team last year, but their offensive line, the way they were flying around on D, Milroe completed so. I still, again, the cap here being that I don't think Milroe against a team with, more similar talent that can load the box is going to be able to be as effective as a passer. And hopefully Texas was kind of doing some look ahead, didn't, not super locked in, focused on Rice in the first half there. Because I agree, if you just watched both of those games last week, you wouldn't be as bullish on Texas. But I still like the 7.5 yet. I was going to mad I'd still play 7 in this one, but I got up enough, 7.5 in the summer where I'm just sticking with that position.
We've seen the money come in on the under. I agree with that move. After rewatching both teams' games from last week, I think the under. I like Texas's defensive line quite a bit.
Agreed.
I'm concerned about the Texas offensive line. Rice got consistent pressure. That worries me a little bit. I don't think, to your point, I don't think Milroe is as good as the counting stats said last week. Last year's game was, for all the hubbub about, Ewers in first quarter and, moving up and down, and Alabama's offense with Bryce Young at quarterback, it was a 20-19 game. I'm not saying that's what we'll see this year, but I tend to lean under at this point. Jack in the chat, Miami, Ohio, -7. I lean that way. I'm part of the Miami Steam earlier in the week. It was, you don't have to be Elon Musk to figure some of this stuff out, folks. It was sitting at a dead number 5 on Monday. Is it going to 3 or is it going to 7? Probably going to 7. So I took part in the Miami, Ohio. Although they got beat up pretty good against Miami, Florida. They did lose their starting tight end for the season. That's a concern. I just, I've been Mr. UMass, and this is kind of a, teaching point here. My power rating said play against Miami, Ohio in week 1. Turned out to be right. My power ratings have said play on Massachusetts each of the first 2 weeks. 1 right, 1 wrong. And yet all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I got this huge power ratings disparity saying play on Miami, Ohio. So to me, that just said that the market was off, at least at open. So I lean Redhawks here. You're going to tell me you love UMass, right?
No, listen, okay. I was with you on the Redhawks early. There's also some birds chirping about UMass's quarterback situation here in this one. Maybe not being up to snuff. So yeah, I would not. Yeah, I would wait if you want to play UMass. I would wait till you get some clarification tomorrow of who's going to be playing quarterback there. And honestly, you should drive a new hammer these Sport Trade. Scott, do we got the right feed on these games from there? Because I got to text guys there to get the. But to be honest with you, I'd still play Miami of Ohio under a TD. So.
Yeah,
and listen, we all like it in this house.
Love it. That tells you right then and there. Yeah, I kind of like Miami, Ohio quite a bit in this one. Jonathan in the chat, North Texas -12 at FIU. Is that good? I don't know. I hate both teams so far this season. So I can tell you I played a 17. Another bad number at Circa, but I'm not playing it now at 12. I made it right around 13. Did you play and take part in this game?
No, I have PTSD from watching that North Texas run defense last week, which is the only thing FIU can kind of do well on offense. They got a couple of, explosive back, explosive quarterback play. They can't pass the ball at all, but do I want any part of laying this number with North Texas on their defense? No, I do not. They were really, really, they were brutal versus Cal. Yeah. I know you were high on Cal on the raw. Their defense was I can't get that. Listen, maybe one of those overreactionary things. Can't get that how bad they were on defense out of my head. Not laying that number with them. Even though I know some people thought there was value there. I'm good on North Texas.
I'd like to know who the North Texas. I mean, I'm all about CLV, but that was one I just did not understand. And a couple of their best players transferred post spring, including their best defensive player decided to go post spring. So yeah, they looked lost on that side of the ball. Benjamin Ward, FCS tonight, Stony Brook, Rhode Island. I did not bet that game. I love Rhode Island so far. What I've seen so far this season, Stony Brook, not so much. A lot of money on Rhode Island. Didn't bet it. Did you get anything? I saw some money on Rhode Island come in.
Yeah,
but,
Rhode Island early. I wouldn't play it now though, because Rhode Island is their team that's all gas, no break with offense. This is one that's now getting up to 24 with their defense. Is not something I'd kind of lean over where it's at currently. But yeah, the kind of if you weren't on it early, it's kind of steamed into place now.
All right. Quickly, it looks like that Sport Trade, those lines are accurate. That's what Zach's telling me. So those aren't dead numbers.
They're looking for action, baby. I respect it. They'll take real bets too. So
yeah, they call you. We know somebody that's in New Jersey. He might help you out with that. He might be too busy betting NFL props right now. So I saw he had a big stack of tickets. DM in the chat. Hey, Brad, Joey, plus 21 on Arkansas State. Good. I lean that way. I kind of, team loses 73-0. I'm gonna be what's he call it? The champions of life. Butch Jones back to his Tennessee days. Yeah, I bet it. I would still lean that way. Power rankings say that, but would it be one of my favorite plays of the week? No, I'm worried. Like, is he on the hot? Is he a dead man walking? Like, say they get beat by 40 this week. Could be. Team might roll over and play dead the rest of the year. What say you on that?
Yeah, I agree. I didn't want to get involved here. I agree. Number a little high from where I'd have it at, but one of those, kind of like we talked about just with the FIU North Texas game. And I know they're super overwhelmed versus an opponent that wanted to make a statement week one, but yeah, I didn't get involved there. Another one that I'm just wasn't running to the window to have a side on.
Tailgate again. 2-touchdown favorite loses outright. I don't have a 2-touchdown favorite, but I think New Mexico State's live. I think they're the most confident double-digit underdog this week because why? Just a few games ago, they went to Lynchburg and won by 35. So I'm on the Fighting Jerry Kills this week. And so are you, because we gave it out earlier this week. So that's one where I think they're pretty live. I was not impressed with Liberty. I hate BG this year. And they were +4 in turnovers. And depending on the number, you might not have covered with Liberty. When you're +4 in turnovers, folks, you cover 95% of the time. And especially you should against a bad BG team, and they didn't. So I think New Mexico State's pretty confident going in there. So that would be do you got another one that you're looking at?
And for our New Mexico State preseason futures, I agree with you. I like New Mexico State on the side. Hope that they can, win outright here and give us a little taste of life there in CUSA. Rice was one, moneyline round robin. Rice was one I was putting in in some round robin. I love fading Dana Holgerson in like a scenario where he's getting these, chance to fade Holgel, coming off kind of a fraudulent game last week. Rice has obviously taken some money. It was a bet at 10.
Very sharp money.
Yeah, I agree. Very sharp money there. Rice and Rice, hung around with Texas versus where for a week last week. So I think Rice can if you're putting together a money line round robin, that's one I like in there as far as getting a side in there that I think Holgo has lost so many of this type of game. I think that's one to put in there for sure.
Not 2-touchdown underdog, but a touchdown plus dog. I think Arizona, I could see them winning outright. That wouldn't shock me in that game. Until we get a handle on Texas State, would not be stunned if they just turn right around and did it again. Obviously, Frank Harris got to clean up the turnovers this week, so that would be one to take a peek at possibly. Holt in the chat, Baylor's a home dog. Yeah, I'm there now. I just think that's a classic. Sell high, buy low. I've been waiting for the information to be like complete. Cam Rising, does he get, cleared? Does he play? And the line continues to go up. That's kind of why I'm kind of in wait and see mode on Baylor. Where are you at on this game? I mean, I originally on Sunday on the openers, I laid 4 because I was like, man, that doesn't have the Shapen news in there at that number of 4. But now I'm hoping Cam Rising gets cleared, plays, goes to 10 maybe, or at least another tick or two up. Where are you at on this Baylor game? I kind of like Baylor.
Yeah, I mean, I could only play it at 7.5 now with Baylor over a TD. I don't know if the downgrade at QB for Baylor is really that significant.
Agree.
Obviously, Cam Rising doesn't appear he's going to be I mean, this is one we talked about before the season, where the whole plan the entire time looked like he was going to skip the non-con, come back for conference play, and I think that's going to all of everything else that's just come out is just noise. Like, I don't think he has any shot to play in this game or next week. I think it'd be targeting the Pac-12 return there. So I agree. Be a smaller play for me at Baylor, because I mean, yeesh, it was that's one of those, another kind of program trend direction here that the Dave Aranda has not been their defense for a guy that was made his stamp on defense has not been very good. But yeah, at 7.5, could only play Baylor there.
All right, fair enough. A prop question for you, Knish. Emory Jones passing under 215.5 passing yards. A lot of money on the under in this one. What say you? Obviously, competition level goes way up this week after playing an FCS opponent last week.
Yeah, that's not. I agree. Like the competition level's up there. It's not one. The number was kind of a bit low for me there, where I was. It's not one I touched. Kind of a number that I thought was okay. I'm not going to try and talk you off it there, but that's not one that I was looking to play on there. I know unders kind of come in there, but
I actually disagree with the total. I mean, I'm going to go over. I liked what I saw from both offenses. So
yeah, I'd kind of lean with that way with you too. So that's a no play for me on that number.
Jacksonville State plus 13.5. First game impressions weren't great. Well, they did win outright against UTEP. The market loved them last week. That number wasn't right against East Tennessee State. They blew them out. They are getting a first real test at Coastal here. Yeah, my goodness. You can forget the 13.5. You can get 14. There's been a little bit of money on Coastal, but man, on 14, I would lean with Jacksonville State. I will tell everybody, over was one of my favorite positions I took earlier in the week.
Yeah, the Eddie over at RAS gave Coastal out. It was kind of a
interesting.
You kind of read the team here. It was a kind of a midweek unplanned thing. So there was kind of some talk around. Does he have some information on in regards to Jacksonville? But I agree. Just numerically, like it would be Jacksonville State at 2 TDs here. But that's one that I'm going to wait until, one of those like right around game time to make sure that there's not some information that I am not aware of in that one. I'll be on Jacksonville State at the 14 if it's still there around game time, but I'm going to wait till pregame warmups to make sure that
there you go.
I'm not tucked in that one.
Could be a late scratch quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a little my radar, Knishi radar was up there.
All right. I'm going
to wait till around game time to bet that.
All right. What do you think about Virginia plus 7 against James Madison? Yeah, I mean, get 7. I do kind of like it. I think it's going to be a very emotional home game. This is their first home game since the tragedy. I know they didn't cover. I know you were right in saying don't bet that against Tennessee, even though my power rating said it. I thought they looked in some parts, they looked okay, especially defensively, at least the first 20 minutes of that game against Tennessee. Offensive line concerns me. Tony Muskett's banged up. I'm not sure he's worth a ton to the point spread at this point, but it's more of a play against James Madison. I didn't like what I saw from James Madison. I don't think they have a quarterback this year out of nowhere like what happened a year ago. So I will take what I think is a pretty good Virginia defense when they're not playing an offense like Tennessee. Give me the plus 6.5 on Virginia.
Yep, I like that as well. Bet some 7 with our friend in the chat here, the 10. And like that, that's another one. Was a money line round robin candidate. Think Virginia, as long as Virginia's backup quarterback, whose name is escaping me, isn't like a complete disaster. I agree with you. I thought their defense held up for a while. It's just one of those. once the dam kind of broke and they got down, by 4, it's kind of like the air went out of the balloon, and Tennessee added on a couple late. They were reasonably competitive for a portion of that game. And I agree, like totally different game stylistically than what was versus Tennessee here, where James Madison is not going to have that type of offense. They're not going to be able to run it up. We're talking about a total of 40 here, so yeah, I agree. JMU QB situation from Saint there is not great. So yeah, if you can, I'd still play it at 6.5. I mean, it's one of those, if you got access to buy on a cheap 7 minus 120 here, worth a little more because the total's so low, but. Yeah, I mean, I'd still play 6.5. And this is one that I've even, sprinkled some money line in the parlays.
Love it. Are we best bet at 6.5 or no?
If you want, if we got, I mean, there's a pretty, there's some cheap 6.5 around. I'm in on 6.5 there.
Yeah, my only concern was market entry. Musket gets ruled out. We get maybe a better number, but points are going to be tough to come by for either team. So in those types of situations, I like to be on the take. And again, should be a very emotional scene there for Virginia. Let's talk about it. Purdue +2. I'm not there. I think that's a fair number. I kind of like sneaky totals play. If he's still watching, I agreed with him on it. I bet it earlier in the week. I kind of like the over in this game. Purdue ran a hell of a lot more tempo than expected. Virginia Tech offensively better than anticipated. Defense to give up some yards against ODU last week. It's up significantly from just a little bit ago, but I'm more on the total on the over than I am the side.
I bought a little Purdue at 3.
There you go.
Wrong on Purdue week 1, but I thought they were okay. Kind of went back to the well here and played a little 3 again. Under 3. Nah, but I don't want any part of Virginia Tech here. So if it gets moved back to 3 on game day. Purdue worth a smaller bet there, but that would be the only side. I don't have interest in VTech here.
Just a couple more guys. Cincy +7, friend of the program, like Cincy. My numbers say Pitt. You and I think laid Pitt at FanDuel early in the week, 3.5. So obviously bet numbers, not teams. But what say you at the current number? I just fair
Pass
number.
For me at current, same way. I know I tend like that. I don't really have a strong opinion. Dip back through, the 7 at some places. So, nothing for me where it's at currently.
I'll say another game where we get a good data point. These two guys played tomato cans last week. Now we can see what these teams are going to be. Obviously, Cincinnati, pretty much a new roster, new coaching staff. We'll see what they can be. Cream Corn in the chat. Elaborate on the weird halftime action we've been getting this year. Are you familiar with this? I didn't play many halftimes last week.
You know what? I mean, maybe if you have me on Twitter, you can DM me. Tell me a little bit. I mean, I watched the halftime, do a lot of second half stuff. I haven't noticed anything that I would say. I mean, my only thought there would be that there's a lot more people just in the market in general in betting. So things move a lot more, groups in that. And so I think just overall things get maybe oversized moves. We've talked about on the show a few times. So, but if you have something other than that you want to ask on, you can. But I haven't noticed anything like particularly odd that I found outside the realm.
Zach says that could be more services are releasing them. Barry Horse and those guys. I know Raz is the halftime service. That could be the case. Tailgate does every now and then. Maybe is that what he's referencing? More services are releasing halftimes. Could be. I can tell you this: the board's more active than ever before. Just period. It is. Totally. Especially early in the week. I know I get. And deservedly so in some instances get shit for releasing early, but everybody's releasing early. The board's lit up and it moves quicker than ever before. And something to keep track of, the CLV crowd. Maybe there is a little bit of over betting going on. So that's something to continue to keep track of. But I didn't play. I play more halftimes as we get into weather related type stuff and teams get more and more banged up as the season goes on. That's just how I approach. I bet more halftimes as we go along towards the season. RW fan, Ohio State, no playoff, -140. Is that still a bet for you, Knish, or no?
I think you can. I just there's better. You shop around that one. Like there's better prices.
Okay,
there's just better prices out there. I don't know if you're one of those one book, but I don't know what state you're in, RW, but shop that one a bit. There's still 15, 20 cents better around.
There you go. Michael Schultz will be the last one we get to today. Wisconsin line just dropped to 5.5. Yeah. I laid the 3 early in the week. I'm happy. I'm comfortable with that position. But I understand a little bit of buyback on the Washington State side. I also like the over. Both teams running more tempo. I do like Washington State's offensive coordinator quite a bit. I liked what I saw from them. What say you? Are you part of this Wazoo late week money?
Yep, I bet, and I was with a few people there buying, and I know that's another RAS release there. It got steamed up pretty good. Was able to buy kind of a juice 7. Still like Wazoo at 6.5. Wazoo is one that got absolutely steamed again. I bought 9.5. There was a game day last week against Colorado State. I was able to get a 7-120. I bought some more. So I'm high. I'm apparently higher on Wazoo than anybody in the country. This game, player prop, since ever for the folks that stuck around.
There we go.
Braylon Allen receiving yardage over, and this for Wisconsin. There is some 16.5 new system. Yeah, 16.5 there over 7 targets last week. And he is going to be a big factor in the passing game. Now they got Malusi, who was kind of getting the I would call it the bulk of the, a lot of like ground carries. Allen, they seem to be, in that new Phil Longo offense, seem to be a guy that they're going to be throwing a lot of passes to. So I think he kind of, if you watched, like Mississippi State offense under Mike Leach when he was there, like they throw a ton of passes to the backs. I think he's good for, 3, 4, 5 targets at least. And this is a number that's still too low there. So I think he's going to be in their new offense. It hasn't totally adjusted yet. Braylon Allen over on the receiving yardage. Anything there on the board, 16.5, 17.5, like a lot. That is if you're familiar with franchise KF
very
on
sharp
Twitter, that is franchise stamped and approved there. Like that quite a bit. Think he's just one that hasn't been properly adjusted for, because they're going to be in the Longo offense where they're going to be throwing it 40, 50, 60 times, and that the backs get a lot of balls. So and he appears to be the guy that's going to get him. So yeah. Allen receiving yardage over. I think
Love
that's
it.
a good one.
Those are for those that have been watching and bearing with us the hour plus here. Jeff in the chat real quick. Best bets. I'll run them down for you. Keep in mind, we start giving out best bets on the Monday show. We gave out on the Monday show Connecticut plus 3.5. That was part of my release. That goes right in the Hit the Books feed. Make sure you got BetStamp, and you can follow us on BetStamp, and you get these best bets that are loaded immediately on that app. New Mexico State plus 11 we gave out Monday. We gave out A&M over 48.5 on Monday. Nebraska plus 3.5 on Monday. There's a list there. Today, if you've been watching along, Virginia plus 6.5. Indiana State tonight plus 31. We also gave out Auburn over 54.5. So yeah, and then I would say the sharpest thing we just gave out was Knish's prop. Looks really good. Sounds good. Now that I know franchise is on it, I love it even more.
Yeah, it sounds good. Hopefully they keep it rolling. So, but yeah, I like that one. I think it's one of those Justin, but I agree. And again, you want to be a Monday show listener, because I said the board's going to be, board's going to be softer on a Monday than it is late on a Friday here. So, some of these that we're giving out on Friday are going to have to be, against moves and that picking up. But so that's why you want to listen to both, folks. That's why you want to listen to both.
And that is a good transition towards the next time we'll see you guys is on Monday. But make sure in the meantime, between them cashing bets, make sure you guys, for all the show updates, you're following us on Twitter at Hit the Books HQ and the Hammer HQ on Twitter. That'll do it for the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Joey Knish. Joey K. Props, I should say. What do you, Joey Props K? We got to come up with a.
Yeah, Joey K. Props. People are going to think I watch baseball here. Joey, let me workshop it over the weekend.
All right. There we go. And for our producer extraordinaire, Zach Phillips, I'm Brad Powers. You just watched Hit the Books, part of the Hammer Betting Network.